Hi everyone, welcome into this week's CBS Fix. This week's Parsha is Parshas Bo, and in the Parsha the Torah tells us about the last of the 10 plagues and the exodus from the land of Egypt, a holiday that is celebrated by us known as Passover, Chag HaPesach. Why? Because at that time Hashem passed over the homes of the Jewish people, and therefore they didn't get destroyed. Only the Jewish people did, which begs the question to be asked is that what kind of name is the holiday of Passover? I mean, we're talking about a freedom for the Jews that was 210 years in the making of extreme slavery. So really, the holiday should have been the holiday of Cheres, the holiday of freedom, or should have been the holiday of being one with God, a oneness, being His nation. We're now born as a nation. What is this Pesach? There was no better name for this holiday than Passover. So one of the explanations that I saw, I forget who I saw it in the name of, but the Nesiva something, wasn't the Nesiva Shalom, but he explains that Jews don't celebrate freedom just for the sake of freedom. Jews are celebrating a freedom that actually has a future and is built on something. See, when Hashem gave them the mitzvah to take a lamb and slaughter it and put it on the doorposts, the blood, put it on the doorposts, and Hashem says, whoever's home that I see that on, those homes will be passed over. What happened? On the night of the killing of the firstborn, so Hashem said, none of the Jews are allowed to leave their homes. Anybody who leaves their homes will be destroyed. Why? Because, like the Medrash teaches us, that once the permission to the destroying angel is given for him to destroy, he doesn't differentiate between a righteous and the non-righteous. And therefore the Jews were told, stay in your homes. Now, what merit were the Jewish people saved, even if they stayed in their homes? But the fact that they had done this mitzvah of taking the idolatry of the Egyptian people and slaughtering it, and the blood was going to be a sign of following Hashem's word. The fact that Hashem passed them over meant that they were having a connection with Hashem, a relationship with Hashem, and they were doing a commandment, also a commandment that they didn't necessarily understand the reason for it, but that is a connection. That is what was actually the merit for the Jewish people to leave. But for people to just have a freedom, to get we're finally now out of Russia, or we're finally out of the deportation camps, and now we're free. And we're free for what? Free to just do whatever you want? A freedom that has no future, a future that is certainly not connected with anything that's towards Hashem? To Hashem, there's no such thing. That's not considered, that's not something that's celebrated. Simply to be free for the sake of freedom is not only something that Hashem does not want, but in a certain sense has been the downfall of many of our Jewish brethren. They're just free. They consider themselves, they're free from Hashem, free from mitzvahs, free from the Russians, free from the governments, free from communism, free from the Germans, free from whoever. As long as we're free, we can do whatever we want. And Hashem doesn't want that. Hashem wants the only type of freedom that allows a Jewish person to study Torah. As our sages say, "En lecha ben charin al mishat lo Torah." There's no such thing as a free person except for somebody who studies Torah. That is the lesson of the holiday being called Chag Pesach, that Hashem passed over, because the reason Hashem passed over was because of our adherence to that mitzvah. Have a great Shabbos. Thank you for listening.